I think in terms of the biggest challenge that I face at the moment is the rapidly changing face of the industry. But I think that also presents opportunities at the same time. So I try and look at that as an opportunity rather than a hindrance.
Biggest challenge I face at work is a lot of our problems are very messy, so they're not really labeled as math problems. You have to figure out how to make a math model, then how to solve it, then how to apply it in practice.
As a sort of maths company in the risk space, I think the biggest challenge is to be able to prove to the clients that you can fit into their infrastructure. Cost cutting is something that's come since the crash in '08, and I think we've got to be able to prove that we fit into the other structures that they have, their other systems and their other mathematical capabilities, rather than just say that you're going to sit out there outside the system. People won't buy products unless they're actually going to have it integrated and have it done seamlessly.
Well, as far as I'm personally concerned, I'm mostly focused on funding valuation adjustments and the credit valuation adjustments and DVA equations. I mean, these are all equations that arise when you model large OTC portfolios accounting for counterparty credit risk. And there's major technical issues that need to be faced. And based on the abilities to actually process and do large-scale calculations, so one can model more or less sophisticated metrics. And what I'm really interested in is really how to leverage on technology to have the most rigorous metrics for accounting purposes.
We live, I think, in a world of change, so we are at the stage where change takes place every day. So adaptation and trying to be up to date with all the developments, this is the hardest thing to achieve. And apart from working all the day, in the evenings you have to read the news, the newspapers regarding some new quantitative developments. So this is the most difficult part, to adapt to the new world we are living in. This requires a lot of sacrifice in terms of time, but I think it's very important to be prepared for the new normal of the world.
At the moment, I think the big challenge is the same. It's continuing from last year, basically. The quantitative finance is becoming more and more interconnected, as I mentioned in the previous point, across areas. So what we are seeing is that there is not need so much for extreme specialization, strong specialists in a very narrow area. Now you need to be good technically, but you need to also have a comprehensive view of a number of issues that you cannot ignore anymore. So you cannot do just equity derivatives valuation without caring much about credit risk or liquidity effects or risk or capital requirements, central clearing, CSAs. You need to have a comprehensive view of how an institution works, the risks, the analytics, the human processes, the management, everything comes into play. So you need to be eclectic and comprehensive, which wasn't the case several years ago. I mean, you could just specialize in your own technical stuff, and that was it. This is gone now.
I think the biggest challenge for us is, originally we were very much into the pricing world for structured products. Things have moved on since the crisis, so there is a decrease in terms of structured products. So the biggest challenge for us is transitioning less on the pure mathematics and quant side, but more moving into solutions and analytics, more moving into risk management, whereas there's an awful lot of interest and spending for us in terms of vendor.